That hose on now, because what we're going to do is now that we've pressure tested it, repairs are done, we're going to take it over and give the outside a good pressure clean. We're going to re-clean the inside of the tank with the part 1 of our mixture, with the other half that we've got left. And as long as we're happy with the cleanliness inside, then this is ready for a good internal and external dry out and ready for the next part of the kit. Certainly a lot cleaner than the first round, but there was still a lot of brown deposits and a few bits of scale you can see come out. So this last final water flush should clean that up. And you might have to give it a bit of a dry up. Okay, we've now finished our part, Murray. It's up to you to take it home and do the final parts of the system by who's it by? KBS.
Thanks to Trent and Noel for doing the repairs on the tank itself. We knew it was a little bit grotty inside, but that surprised me when I looked inside that bucket and saw what came out of here. But now the repairs are all done. It's a waste of time doing those repairs if you don't follow it up with some sort of coating, because the corrosion is only going to come back. That side of it's all done, that's looked after. Now, it's pretty critical to make sure you get this next stage done the same day. We've been through, we've force dried it, we've added some heat, blown it through and blown it through. That took an hour or so to do that with forced heat. But you want to make sure you get that pretty well dry inside. But before you leave it, if you want to leave this until tomorrow, the next day, the day after, it's not real critical as long as you get the RustBlast done. Now this here is the pre-paint prep, as they call it. Puts a phosphorus coating onto the inside of the tank itself so that the final coating will stick. It not only does that, it actually etches into the metal itself that's there, and it does provide a bit of protection against surface rust reappearing rapidly, because as you saw, we rinsed all this out in water. We don't want rust to come back, even though the product that we're going to put in here is actually going to be just a final coating that's going to totally encase the inside, and it's a permanent coating. It's a permanent finish that we're putting on there. So next step, got to put this one inside, but first of all, gloves are on, glasses are on. Open him up, and we do use the whole litre. You don't dilute it. The tank's all dry inside, so that's all that's going to go in there. Now, another important part about this RustBlast itself is you can't let it dry on the surface. So when we're cleaning the tank, you could leave it stand for 5 minutes, 15 minutes. It wasn't real critical as long as you kept it moving and kept flushing it around to slosh it around to make sure it was really activated. Now that's all in there. With this one here, it's similar. We've still got to do the same thing, but we've got to make sure on a day like today, which is fairly mild in Perth, I think they said it was around about 22 degrees, we've got to make sure that we keep this tank moving. So we start rolling them over, get into especially those edges. They're the bits that are real critical, and then rolling him over. Getting it everywhere. Now I can actually, even though this is sealed, I can actually smell that sort of slight acidic sort of thing about it, and that's what really does provide that etch in there into that metal surface. Now if you're going to use this on a fiberglass tank, you've got to speak to the manufacturers first, because there's a little bit more work involved. I don't want to go into that, so we'll just continue with this one and keep on going. Now that I think will have a pretty good coating pretty well everywhere. So we're just going to leave that sit for a bit, because that acid that's in this coating will actually bite into that metal, provide that key that we need to get the final coat happening. So we're going to leave this stand for, I don't know, probably 5 minutes. Shake it all up again, a bit more agitation, and keep that happening for at least 20 minutes, preferably half an hour, but no more than an hour. Yeah. Okay, leave that sit for a bit, back in 5. Okay, 5's gone by. Time to give it another shake and a slosh. Well coated. We want it everywhere because, like I say, we don't want it to dry on that surface. Okay, 5's gone by again. So give him another rotate. Getting him in all those corners. I'm really concerned about getting it into that area that has been repaired. Good time to have another look, just to make sure that with putting this acid or this coating on now, that it doesn't release any other little bits that might have almost got out the first time, that sort of thing. The only leaks we got here is where we put that temporary plate over the sender unit. Like I say, the hose is just sitting there, it's not actually clamped up, so there's a little bit of a dribble there, but otherwise, top job, Noel. All right, another 5 minutes, then we'll empty that lot out, and we've got to really make sure we flush it with water, because we want to get all of that coating residue out of there. Otherwise, it will continue to bite in. Then we'll give it a bit of a dry off. But what we're going to do with this one, because that has to be absolutely perfectly 110% dry before we put the sealer in, we're going to do a bit of force drying, but then we're also going to leave it sit overnight so that we can actually do the coating itself tomorrow. So I'll go and give this another wash out, and we'll come back and put the coating in itself tomorrow morning.